Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into a topic that'll probably make you look at technological progress, like in a whole new way, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about innovations that were like deliberately buried, not because they like failed or anything,
Right.
but because they threatened the status quo.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of like this weird paradox where you have the drive for progress,
Right.
butting heads with this desire to protect like what's already there, like
Yeah.
the existing power structures
Yeah.
and profit margins and things like that.
Exactly. Like it feels like we're always right on the edge of some huge breakthrough.
Yeah.
And then something just like holds us back.
Right? Have you ever like thought about why certain technologies just never seem to make it to the mainstream,
Yeah,
even if they have like incredible potential?
it's true.
Oh.
It's not always just a case of the better technology winning out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's often a lot of other factors.
Yeah, that could kind of play into it.
Yeah.
Economic interests,
Yeah.
Political maneuvering,
Yeah.
social resistance
Mm-hmm.
to change and things like that.
Okay. So let's like get into it.
Yeah, let's unpack this.
Let's start with like one of the most famous examples, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla
Oh, yeah.
and his whole vision for wireless electricity.
Right.
Imagine like a world where energy is just like readily available,
Yeah.
transmitted wirelessly through the air.
Yeah.
Like that was Tesla's dream with
Yeah.
that Wardenclyffe Tower project
Yeah.
back in the early 1900s.
Tesla basically thought that he could create this system that would harness the Earth's natural energy,
Right.
and it would make clean and abundant electricity available to everybody.
Right.
And it was a super revolutionary concept at the time that
Yeah.
could have like
Right.
changed society in
Yeah.
crazy ways.
Sounds pretty utopian.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you got JP Morgan,
Yeah.
who was like Tesla's main investor.
His primary investor.
Yeah. And Morgan was like a serious businessman.
Yeah.
And he saw a big problem with Tesla's vision.
Well, yeah, I mean, because free energy,
Right.
as beneficial as it would be for everybody,
Yeah.
it poses a really big threat to like
Ah.
the existing energy infrastructure and all the profits that it was generating. So
Right.
a system where you can't like meter
Right.
and control electricity,
Right.
that just didn't work for him.
Didn't align with his business interests.
No, not at all.
So even though Tesla's invention was like incredibly promising,
Yeah.
the funding just dried up.
Yep.
And the project was totally abandoned.
It makes you wonder, though, what if it had happened?
Right.
What if Tesla's vision had become reality?
Yeah. How different would things be today?
It's like a crazy thought experiment to think about.
Yeah.
Like, we might be living in a world where we're completely free from fossil fuels.
Right.
And energy scarcity is just like this thing of the past.
Yeah.
But, it really highlights something important here.
Yeah.
Like the way that technology actually progresses
Right.
is often shaped by things
Yeah.
that are way beyond just scientific ingenuity.
Right. It's not just about if something works or not.
It's not just about that, no.
It's about if it fits into
Yeah.
the,
The existing
Yeah.
economic and power structures.
Exactly.
And this happens over and over again throughout history. I mean,
Yeah.
think about the printing press.
Oh, yeah.
So this was invented in the 15th century.
Right.
And it really like democratized
Yeah.
access to information.
Right.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
it threatened the control that the church had and the ruling elites.
Right. So suddenly information could spread really fast and independently,
Yeah.
bypassing all the traditional
Gatekeepers.
gatekeepers, right?
Yeah.
And it really challenged like authority
Yeah.
and fueled all this social and political upheaval.
Yeah. And obviously there was a reaction to that.
Yeah.
People tried to censor printed materials
Yeah.
and control how knowledge was spread
Yeah.
and maintain all those existing hierarchies of
Yeah.
power.
But the printing press, kind of like the internet, centuries later,
Right.
was just like this unstoppable force.
Yeah, it really changed the course of history.
Yeah.
Even though there was all this resistance.
Right. And it makes you think,
It does.
like, what innovations today
Yeah,
are facing that same kind of pushback?
that's the question.
Yeah. Are there potentially groundbreaking technologies that are being like suppressed because they threaten powerful interests
Yeah.
or disrupt whole industries?
It's a really good question to think about.
Yeah, we tend to just think that
Yeah.
technological progress is just this
Yeah.
linear,
Straight line.
inevitable thing.
Yeah.
But like history shows
History shows.
Yet that's not always the case.
No, sometimes it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like the innovations that are the most transformative
Right.
are the ones that face the most resistance.
Right. Okay, so speaking of resistance,
Okay.
let's talk about something that's a little bit closer to home.
Okay.
Planned obsolescence.
Ah, yeah.
You know that whole thing where products are like designed to break down
Yeah.
or become outdated
Yeah.
super quickly?
It's a sneaky thing
Right.
to get you to keep buying stuff, but it impacts like
Right.
our wallets,
Yeah.
the environment,
Yeah.
even like how we see progress itself.
Right. And the classic example, of course,
Oh, yeah.
is the light bulb.
The light bulb.
Like, did you know that back in the early 20th century,
Yeah.
like light bulb manufacturers had already figured out
They had it figured out.
how to make bulbs that would last for decades?
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
But instead of like, you know,
Embracing that,
right.
they decided to do the opposite.
Yep.
A group of these big manufacturers, they formed this thing called the Phoebus Cartel.
Right.
And they basically conspired to limit the lifespan of light bulbs.
To like 1,000 hours.
About 1,000 hours.
It's crazy. Can you imagine
I know.
changing a light bulb every like 10 years or something?
It'd be amazing.
Right. What a dream.
Yeah.
But that was like deliberately crushed
Yeah.
so that they could keep making money.
Yep. Just to make sure those profits kept rolling in.
And unfortunately, that is still happening today.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Right. Think about like smartphones that slow down.
Yep.
After a couple of years.
After just a couple of years.
Right. Or software updates that make your older devices like incompatible.
Totally incompatible.
Right. And like fast fashion,
People-
encouraging you to buy new clothes all the time.
Like we're on this
It's a treadmill.
the running treadmill.
Yeah, you just got to keep consuming.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it's all driven by,
Yeah.
you know, products that are made to break down
Yep.
and become obsolete super fast. Yeah.
So it's like, what is this
That's a good question.
whole cycle of planned obsolescence?
Right.
Teach us about our relationship with technology.
Exactly.
Like, are we actually in control of our tools?
Yeah.
Or are we being like
Manipulated
by, you know,
forces that care more about making money
right,
than they do about like
sustainability
sustainability.
and actual progress?
Yeah, it's thought-provoking, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads us to this other example
Okay.
of, you know, potential innovation being stifled.
Okay.
The rise and fall
Okay.
and rise again
And rise again.
of the electric car.
The electric car. Oh, yeah.
Most people think that electric vehicles
Yeah.
are like
Brand new.
a brand new invention.
Yeah.
But they're actually older
They are.
than gasoline-powered cars.
They predate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the early 1900s, electric cars were pretty popular.
Wow.
They were clean and quiet.
Yeah.
And for a while, they were actually outselling.
Gas-powered cars.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Well, that's the big question, right?
Why did gas cars become like the
Yeah.
main way to get around
The dominant.
for like a whole century?
Yeah, for most of a century.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Right.
So there are a few things that happened.
Yeah.
But a big one was the rise of the oil industry.
Right.
As oil became easier to get and cheaper.
Yeah.
Partly because they were finding new oil reserves.
Right.
And they had better ways to get it out of the ground.
Right.
The internal combustion engine
Yeah.
just got like a huge advantage.
Yeah. And of course, you also had like
Oh, yeah.
the big, powerful automakers
Oh.
who had like put a ton of money into
Yeah.
gasoline engine technology.
Yeah, they weren't really interested in switching.
Right. They weren't ready to just like change everything.
Nope. Yeah.
So the story of the electric car is like
It's a complicated one.
kind of a messy one.
Yeah, you got technological advancements,
Yeah.
economic forces.
Yeah. And honestly, even a bit of mystery.
But speaking of mystery,
Okay.
let's talk about General Motors EV1.
The EV1.
Yeah, this electric car from the 1990s.
Oh, yeah.
It got like rave reviews.
Yeah. People loved it.
People loved it.
Yeah.
But then GM just like
Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere discontinued it.
Discontinued it.
Yeah, recalled all the cars
Took them all back.
and like destroyed a bunch of
A
them.
lot of them got destroyed.
It's crazy.
I know.
Like nobody really knows for sure why they did that.
There's a lot of speculation.
Right.
Some people think that they gave in to pressure from the oil industry.
Oh, yeah.
Other people think maybe there was resistance from inside the company.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't want to change.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just didn't think electric vehicles were going to work long term.
Right.
Who knows?
It's a mystery.
But whatever the reason was,
Yeah.
the EV1 dying like that
Yeah.
really highlights just how hard it is
Right.
for innovations that threaten the way things are
Yeah.
to actually succeed.
Even when they're clearly beneficial.
Yeah. Even when it seems like everybody wants them.
It makes you think about what really drives technological progress,
Yeah.
and if it always matches up with what's best for society.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Really is. It's a really good example of how, like, technological innovation can get all tangled up in, like, economics and politics.
You know? Yeah, it's not always just a simple,
Right.
if you build it, they will come kind of thing.
No, not at all.
Right. Sometimes even a great product can just like
fall victim
to forces that are totally beyond its control.
Yeah.
Right. And, it's not just energy and transportation either.
Right.
This whole pattern of suppressing innovation.
Yeah.
Like, think about healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's an area where the stakes are like super high.
Super high.
Right.
Yeah.
The potential for both progress and suppression
Absolutely.
is huge.
Healthcare is a really complex area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you have this drive for profit,
Yeah.
butting heads with this need to provide
Right.
treatments that are affordable, accessible.
Yeah.
And it's a hard balance to find.
It really is.
And it doesn't always work out for the best.
Right.
For the patient.
Right. We see that tension playing out in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like, just think about the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, there's all these reports of, like, potentially life-saving drugs being delayed.
Shelved. Yeah.
Because they just, like, don't fit into the current profit models.
A perfect example of that is antibiotics.
Right.
Like, antibiotic resistance is this
Huge.
growing global crisis.
Yeah.
But drug companies don't want to invest
Right.
in developing new antibiotics.
Why not?
Well, because they're typically short-term treatments.
When-
And they don't make as much money.
So it's like this critical need for new drugs.
Yeah.
Clashing with, like, the financial incentives.
Financial incentives of the industry.
Oh, the industry.
Yeah. It's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And this whole thing with patents, too.
Oh, yeah. Patents are a whole other issue.
Right. Like, on the one hand, they're essential
They are.
for encouraging innovation.
They protect the intellectual property of the people who develop these drugs.
Right.
And it lets them earn back
Yeah.
all the money that they spent
Right.
on research and development.
Right. But then on the other hand,
But on the other hand,
patents can create these monopolies.
monopolies that make drug prices skyrocket.
Yeah.
And it makes these life-saving treatments way harder to get.
It's like this constant struggle to find that balance.
Yeah. It's complicated.
It is. But we can't forget about all those individuals and organizations who are actually trying to make a difference.
Absolutely.
We've talked about whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Like Edward Snowden.
Right.
Who risk everything to expose what's going on.
Yeah, to hold these big institutions accountable.
And there's so many other people.
Oh, yeah, countless people.
Working behind the scenes.
Wow.
Working behind the scenes.
We're pushing for more transparency, ethical practices.
Absolutely.
And making sure the benefits of technological progress are shared more fairly.
Yeah.
Like, think about open source software.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
Developers from all over the world.
Yeah.
Just collaborating.
Freely.
Yeah, sharing their code.
Their knowledge.
Their knowledge to create software that's accessible to everybody.
It shows how innovation can happen outside of those traditional profit-driven models.
Right. And it's not just software either.
Right.
Like, we're seeing open source hardware now.
Yeah.
Collaborative research and this whole movement towards decentralized technology, which is really about empowering individuals and communities.
It's like there's this new story emerging.
Yeah, a pushback against this idea that innovation has to be controlled by corporations and just a select few.
Right. And that's hopeful.
It is.
Right.
It really is.
It's like we're becoming more aware as a society of like the forces that are actually shaping technological progress.
Yeah.
And we're starting to demand a different approach.
One that actually cares about people.
Right. One that prioritizes human well-being over profit and control.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder.
It does.
Like, what do we actually lose as individuals when innovation is stifled like this?
What are the hidden costs?
What are the costs of suppressing potentially groundbreaking ideas?
Well, the answer is a lot.
Yeah.
We lose time.
Right.
Precious time that could be spent on solving these big problems.
Like climate change.
Climate change.
Disease.
Poverty.
Poverty.
Right.
We lose trust.
Yeah.
In the institutions that are supposed to be leading us forward.
Right.
And maybe even more importantly, we lose a sense of what's possible.
Right.
That belief that we can actually create a better future.
Yeah.
Using human ingenuity and collaboration.
It's like we're dimming our own light.
It is, yeah.
Holding ourselves back.
Yeah, from reaching our full potential.
Right, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations.
It is.
To really shed light on the ways innovation is being suppressed.
Yeah, and to think about other ways of doing things that actually put the common good first.
We have to challenge these narratives.
Yes.
That say certain technologies
Are impossible.
Right. Or impractical.
Impractical. We have to support the people who are pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely.
And advocating for a more ethical and equitable approach to progress.
It's about remembering that the future isn't set in stone. Yeah. It's shaped by the choices that we make today.
Yeah, by the technologies that we decide to embrace or reject.
Exactly.
And the values that we put first.
This whole deep dive into suppressed innovations isn't just about looking at what could have been. It's about looking ahead with a new understanding and a commitment to shaping a future where innovation actually helps everyone.
It's about reclaiming our power as people.
Yes.
Right? And demanding a world where progress isn't driven by corporate greed or political maneuvering, but by our shared desire to create a better future for everybody.
I love that. Right.
I love that. Yeah.
I feel like we've barely scratched the surface here. Like, what can we actually do as individuals to support ethical and open innovation?
That's a great question.
I'm like ready to take action.
I love that enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to feel overwhelmed
by how big these issues are.
Yeah.
But honestly, even small actions can make a difference.
Okay, so what can we do?
Well, first of all, we got to stay informed.
Okay.
Don't just like passively consume information.
Right.
Think critically.
Okay.
Question the stuff that you're being told.
Yeah.
And look for different perspectives.
So basically, don't just take everything at face value.
Exactly.
Right.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
Challenge those assumptions.
Right.
And look for info from lots of different sources.
Right. So become a more conscious consumer.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right.
Make choices that match up with your values.
And if we see examples of like suppressed innovation or practices that are, you know, unethical or unsustainable, like we should speak up.
Speak up.
Yeah.
Share what you're worried about.
Right.
Talk to people about it online.
Yeah.
Write to your representatives.
So it's about using our voices.
Exactly.
Even if it feels like a small voice.
Even if it feels small.
Right.
Yeah, but remember, your voice is more powerful than you think.
Yeah.
Collective action starts with individuals speaking up.
Right.
And there are so many organizations and groups out there that are working to support ethical innovation, open source technologies, and doing things in a way that's good for the planet.
Right.
Support them.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Donate your time.
Yeah.
Donate money.
Yeah.
Or just tell other people about them.
So find ways to make our actions match our values.
Exactly.
Right? And support the people who are trying to build a better future.
And don't forget about just talking to people.
Right.
Your friends, your family, your coworkers.
Yeah.
Start conversations about these issues.
Yeah, like the ethical side of technology.
Yeah.
How important sustainability is.
Absolutely.
And how we need innovation that works for everyone.
It's all about starting those conversations.
Yeah. Right. Those conversations might lead to new ideas.
Yeah. They might inspire action.
Right.
And they help create a sense of like shared purpose.
Yeah.
Change always starts with awareness, and awareness spreads through conversation.
It does. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with kind of a mix of emotions.
Yeah, I get it.
There's sadness, for sure.
Yeah.
For all that lost potential.
Yeah.
The innovations that could have made things better.
Right, but there's also hope.
But there's also hope.
I think so too.
That we can learn from the past.
Yeah.
And make a different future.
Absolutely.
It all starts with asking those questions.
Yeah.
Challenging the assumptions.
Yeah.
And really demanding a future where innovation is actually used for good.
To make our lives better.
Right.
And to make the world a better place for everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We hope it made you curious.
Yeah.
And got you thinking about all the stuff that shapes our world.
The forces at play.
Right. And remember, keep diving deep.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning. Keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic.
That'll challenge your thinking.
That'll challenge your assumptions.
And hopefully help you understand the world a little bit better.
Until then.
Yeah.
Stay curious.
Yeah.